So, good morning, everybody. Respected chairpersons, Mukund sir, Shilpa ma'am, Neerav sir. Hi. So, my paper today, which I'm going to present before it is on the screen, I would like to talk to you about this very huge real world study that has already been published by the name of Novelty Study. So, more than 16,000 patients have been studied in this real world evidence study, and already established molecule. Since the past 15 years and more, we are all using vildagliptin in our clinical practices. This is not my slide. If you can work on those. From the novelty study, what we found out was that vildagliptin in an extended release could be used in people for a good, efficacious HbA1c control. And out of the 16,000 patients, Mukund sir, Shilpa ma'am, it was found out that vildagliptin was able to reduce almost 1% jaisa HbA1c and lesser adverse events, no trouble. Now, this was led by Dr. Rakesh Sahai sir. Last year they started. Out of the novelty study, there were multiple subgroup analyses that were taken. One of the analyses is already presented by Dr. Rutul about the abdominal obesity. What I'm going to talk about the subgroup analysis is that now we have young onset people and we also have late onset people. How are these young onset people different from the late onset people? And we all will agree that diabetes is being diagnosed in younger and younger age category. So in this subgroup analysis, what we did was we defined that the young onset diabetes means anybody being diagnosed with diabetes below the age of 40. Late onset above 40, anybody diagnosed with diabetes. So this is what we wanted to see, how vildagliptin is faring in these people. Now it is also how the disease is progressing. Diabetes is progressing. How is the therapeutic response? Is vildagliptin showing different efficacy in the late onset versus the young onset? Is there any complication risk or some personalized strategies that we can use as clinicians in our use of vildagliptin? So the entire objective was to see the efficacy in patients in young onset versus the late onset patients over a period of 3 months. It was a very single arm, observational, non-interventional, prospective, open label, multi-center study. Now, we added vildagliptin in from the novelty study only. That's the main group, wherein type 2 diabetes people above the age of 18 were taken. People uncontrolled on metformin, 1,000 milligram, HbA1c more than 7. Who were excluded? People not willing to take part into the study, pregnant, hypersensitivity to vildagliptin, anybody with acute illness, anybody and everybody in the past 6 months with any complication history. So all safe people were taken, and this is the our current subgroup analysis, which we'll talk about, where we wanted to assess the difference between young onset versus late onset. So this is a post hoc analysis. Again, all the young onset people, all the type 2 diabetes people were studied, and the main points of assessment was what is the patient profile, HbA1c, fasting, ppbs, satisfaction in terms of physician as well as patient, and also the percentage of patients who could achieve the target HbA1c of less than 7%. So let me just take you through the result. 1691 is the number of people who were taken in the novelty. The subgroup analysis, the current study is 182, that is almost 10 to 11% of the entire cohort. And just look at the baseline characteristics. Now the young subset is almost 35 years of age, 34, 35 years of age, and the late onset is 55. So almost 20 years age gap. What is to be highlighted and what is to be observed is look at the HbA1c. Almost similar HbA1c, 8.2 and 8.4. So very interesting to understand that these are the young people who after 20 years, if that diabetes is not managed well at this point of time, these are the people who will have some or the other complication. So this is the 20-year time period now that we have to take care of these people. Look at their blood pressure numbers also, almost similar. Their HDL also almost similar, in fact lower in the young onset category. So again, a higher risk which we have to assess and we have to keep in mind. The duration of diabetes, these people recruited already had 21 months, 22 months, almost 2 years of duration of diabetes on an average. So for some it could be 1 year, for some 5 years, but the average was 2 years. And the metformin usage also almost about 20 months. So it is showing that there is failure of the single molecule, but also therapeutic inertia in up-titrating the dosage of medication to achieve a better HbA1c control. So are we not doing enough for our people with young onset diabetes? That's what we have to think. Let's look at the results in terms of HbA1c. So in the cohort of the young onset, when this vildagliptin XR was prescribed along with metformin, after 3 months only, their HbA1c reduction was almost 1%. Versus the late onset, it was again similar. So there's not much of a difference between the young onset and the old onset in terms of efficacy of vildagliptin. And what is again more important is the percentage of the cohort achieving the target HbA1c of less than 7, which is higher in the young onset, almost 45, and a little lesser in the late onset, just showing us that the young patients are more capable and more, if you take care of them well, aggressively in the start, you can give them a better HbA1c for a longer period of time. And we've seen the verified trials. They are showing early and aggressive initiation of proper OHA can give you a better HbA1c for a sustainable amount of time. Let's look at the fasting and the PPBS. Again, almost similar reduction in the fasting and PPBS between the young onset and late onset. According to me, it's not much of a great p-value over here for us to discuss. Let's look in terms of satisfaction. The physicians said they are happy prescribing vildagliptin in terms of tolerability and efficacy for both young onset and late onset. Majority of them either agree or strongly agree. For the people, they are also either strongly agreeing or satisfied with the prescription of vildagliptin, showing that you can happily prescribe this molecule without feeling kuch complication ho jayega, what will happen to the patient in the long run. So what does this data reveal? The entire novelty study, which gives us so much of a cohort in our study population, showed that there was high prevalence of young onset diabetes, 11%. And this is only from a smaller cohort of 1,600 people, 1,600, 1,700 people. Even let's look at the hall right now, a lot of us have metabolic syndrome, and we need to acknowledge that fact that we need to work early, hit hard. These young onset people are much younger, almost 20 years younger to the late onset cohort, and have a poor glycemic control. So the earlier onset of complication, the worse the control in the starting, there is no karma effect or no legacy effect or no metabolic control which is giving you safety for the coming years to go. HbA1c reduction in both the groups almost similar in terms of HbA1c, fasting or PPBS, vildagliptin proving its safety and efficacy and tolerability. The young onset category, the cohort, has a better potential and a better ability to get a better HbA1c control faster in comparison to the late onset, showing that better beta cell preservation, better beta cell targeting, HOMA beta and HOMA IR, can be done using this molecule of vildagliptin in combination with metformin. The satisfaction amongst physicians as well as amongst patients is equally comparable, very good, and let's say happy with prescribing a molecule giving us a good HbA1c control. So I'll just take you through the key takeaways. Comparable efficacy, better goal achievement with a combination of vilda plus metformin, vilda extended release over here, achieving similar glycemic reduction in young onset and low onset, a little bit more in the young onset part. Equal power, equal safety, consistent benefits, long-term, excellent safety and tolerability profile. Let's not delay. Let us intensify today. Let's not shy off from being aggressive for our people, young people with diabetes. Let us overcome this clinical inertia that we time and again talk about, which we in and out talk about. Let us intensify and give a better quality of life to our people, young people with diabetes. With that, thank you. Thank you so much.